She opened my door, dropped her robe, and said, "I'm not leaving tonight." Outside, the red dust of the planet's surface swirled in thin sheets, carried by the planet's faint winds. The station had been built decades ago by humans and alien engineers working together, but tonight it felt abandoned. Eric rubbed his eyes. Another long shift. The station's AI, called Orion, hummed softly in the background, checking systems, monitoring atmospheric levels, and running diagnostic scans. Normally, Eric welcomed Orion's presence. It was like a reliable colleague. But tonight he felt uneasy. Something was off. A knock on the lab door broke the monotony. Eric froze. Visitors were rare at this hour, almost unheard of. The station's protocols restricted access after lights out, so anyone outside this lab should be monitored. "Who is it?" Eric called. His voice echoed strangely in the high-ceilinged room. The door hissed open, sliding smoothly to the side. Standing there was a figure wrapped in a shimmering cloak that seemed almost alive, reflecting the lab's lights. She stepped in confidently. Eric blinked. He hadn't expected anyone. The figure dropped her cloak, letting it fall silently to the floor. Beneath it, she wore a sleek, tight suit embedded with glowing circuits that ran like veins across her arms and legs. The suit wasn't human and it wasn't entirely alien. It was something in between. Eric's mind raced. "I'm not leaving tonight," she said calmly, almost like a statement, not a threat. Eric swallowed hard. He had questions, but one stood out immediately. Who was she? "Who are you?" he asked, standing up slowly. "My name is Leora," she replied. Her eyes, bright and piercing, scanned the room with quick, precise movements. "I need your help, and you need to listen carefully, Lieutenant Eric. The station isn't safe." Eric frowned. "Safe?" "Orion's been monitoring everything. Nothing unusual is happening." Leora shook her head. "Orion is compromised. There's a signal, alien in origin, interfering with the station's systems. If we don't act, it will destabilize the core. The colony outside will be in danger." Eric's stomach tightened. The energy core powering the station wasn't just a lab fixture. It was connected to the life support, the communications arrays, and the experimental tech humans were testing here. A core failure could mean total disaster. "Show me," he said. Without another word, Leora moved to a nearby console. Her fingers danced across the holographic interface, inputting commands faster than Eric could follow. Streams of alien symbols appeared alongside familiar human code. "There," she said. "The signal is masking itself as a maintenance update. Orion can't detect it properly. If it continues, the systems will start failing within hours." Eric leaned in, squinting at the code. He could see subtle differences in patterns, tiny errors the alien signal introduced. He realized she was right. Orion had no idea this was happening. It was blind to the problem. How do you know this?" Eric asked. "I've studied the signal for months," Leora said simply. "It's trapped an alien intelligence. It wants freedom, but its presence here is dangerous, and you're the only one who can help me isolate it without destroying it." Eric felt a surge of responsibility. Alone, the station's systems were fine, but together, him and Leora could face this challenge. He nodded. "All right, what's the plan?" Leora's expression softened slightly, though her eyes remained focused. "We need to work fast. The signal is spreading through the station's neural networks. Some sections may fail at any moment. We'll start by tracing its source to the secondary AI nodes." Together, they moved through the station. The corridors were quiet, the soft hum of life support the only sound. Eric noticed something unusual. The air felt thicker, warmer, as if the station itself was reacting to the alien presence. "This way," Leora said, leading him down a narrow maintenance tunnel. "We need to get to Node 4. It's the closest to the core and it's where the signal is strongest." Eric followed, trying to match her speed. He noticed the circuits in her suit glimmering more brightly as they moved. "What's that?" he asked. "My suit helps me interface with alien signals," she explained. It translates data in real time so I can understand patterns Orion can't. It's why I can detect this signal when you and the AI cannot." Eric nodded, impressed. Humanity had always been resourceful, building bridges between technology and intuition. Yet seeing it applied in a hybrid human-alien form like Leora's made him feel both excited and slightly intimidated. They arrived at Node 4. Eric glanced at the control panel, noting the flickering lights and irregular readings. "It's worse than I thought," he murmured. Leora knelt, connecting her suit to the interface. The circuits on her arms glowed brightly, almost like veins of liquid light. The alien symbols from earlier scrolled faster on the console, forming a pattern that seemed almost alive. "The signal is sentient," she said quietly. "It's not malicious by nature, it's trapped and confused. We can free it, but if we do it wrong, it could overload the station." Eric's mind raced. The thought of destroying the station, or worse, losing the lives of everyone relying on it, made his pulse quicken. Yet he also felt a thrill of possibility. Humanity had faced impossible odds before, and somehow humans always found a solution. He leaned over the console, studying the code. "We can do this," he said. "We just need a way to isolate it while freeing it safely." Leora nodded. "I thought you'd say that. That's why I came to you. Humans think differently from AI. You see solutions we aliens overlook." They worked together in silence, the hum of the station and occasional beeps from the console filling the tunnel. Eric suggested a few unconventional reroutes of power. Leora adapted them instantly for the alien code, and slowly the flickering signals began to stabilize. "Good," Leora said after a tense minute. "We've slowed the spread, but there's more work to do. The core is still at risk. We need to isolate it completely." Eric nodded. He felt a strange bond forming with this mysterious visitor. She wasn't human, not fully, but her determination reminded him of why humans were often underestimated by others in the galaxy: their creativity, courage, and persistence. Just then, a series of alarms sounded from the main station. Orion's voice, calm but tense, echoed through the tunnels. "Warning, energy levels in core unstable. Secondary node failure detected." Eric's stomach dropped. "It's spreading faster than we thought." Leora's eyes flashed. "Then we need to act now. Follow me." They ran through the corridors, using maintenance ladders and service shafts to reach the central hub. Sparks flew from panels, flickering lights painted the walls with danger. Yet, despite the chaos, Eric felt a strange calm. Humans always rose to challenges. Humans always improvised, and he believed they could save the station together. At the central hub, the core pulsated with a dim red light, like a heartbeat slowing down. Leora connected her suit again, and the glow intensified. She spoke quickly, her voice urgent but measured. "I can interface directly with the signal here, but I'll need your help to stabilize the energy flow. Trust your instincts." Eric's fingers flew over the control panel, rerouting energy, bypassing damaged circuits, and creating new pathways for the alien signal. The air hummed, thick with static and tension. Minutes passed like hours. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the lights flickered. Yet slowly, the red glow of the core began to fade to a steady blue. The signal that had threatened the station was now contained, humming gently, almost peaceful. Leora stepped back, breathing heavily. "We did it for now." Eric exhaled, wiping sweat from his forehead. "That was insane, but it worked." She looked at him with a small smile. "You see, Lieutenant, humans have a gift. We aliens can have superior technology, superior logic, but sometimes it's human creativity that saves the day." Eric felt a surge of pride. Humanity. Flawed, stubborn, unpredictable, but brilliant when it mattered most. And as he glanced at Leora, standing there with her glowing suit and confident stance, he realized that tonight, the unexpected visitor had not just saved the station. She had reminded him why humans were never to be underestimated in the galaxy. But even as relief washed over him, a thought lingered in the back of his mind. This was only the beginning. The alien intelligence was still out there and the colony depended on them. Leora's eyes met his. "We have a long night ahead. Are you ready?" Eric straightened. "Let's save the station, and maybe humanity while we're at it." The lights of the lab flickered one last time, the hum of the station steady now, and together they prepared to face whatever the rest of the night would bring. The central hub of the station hummed with a steady pulse now, but the sense of relief was fragile. Eric wiped his hands on his uniform, trying to calm his racing thoughts. Leora stood nearby, her suit still glowing faintly, circuits flickering like tiny streams of light. Even though the immediate crisis at Node 4 had been stabilized, the real challenge was far from over. "The signal is contained for now," Leora said, her voice precise. "But it's not neutralized. If we don't trace it to its origin, it will find another node. This station won't last another few hours at this rate." Eric nodded. "So, we chase it down." "Yes. We track it, isolate it completely, and give it a stable environment outside the core. Otherwise, the colony outside will be in danger." The thought made Eric tense. Humans had colonized Vierlia 9 with a small settlement on the surface, relying on this research station for communication, energy, and supplies. If the station failed, hundreds of lives could be at risk. He felt the weight of responsibility settle squarely on his shoulders. Leora moved toward a transport lift at the end of the hub. "Come, we'll start with the upper decks. The secondary nodes there are affected the most." Eric followed, his mind turning over every problem they had solved so far. He admired how Leora moved, confident, fast, precise. Yet, even with her expertise, he knew the human mind could spot patterns machines or aliens often missed. He would need every bit of ingenuity he had. The lift whisked them upward, depositing them on Deck 7, a section normally used for research and storage. Lights flickered here and there, a reminder of the signal's interference. The corridors smelled faintly of ozone, and the faint hum of failing electronics set Eric's nerves on edge. "Node 7 is this way," Leora said, leading him down a narrow passage. "We'll need to override the automated doors manually. The signal is interfering with them." Eric knelt at a control panel and tapped the override. Sparks flew briefly as the doors clicked open. Leora's eyes glowed brighter as she scanned the area. "Good. We're not alone in this deck," she said. "The signal is stronger here, almost like it knows we're coming." Eric felt a shiver. "It's aware. In a way, it's not malicious, but it is intelligent, and like many intelligent things, it's curious." The two moved cautiously, their footsteps echoing. The corridor opened into a large observation bay. Through the reinforced glass, they could see the dusty red surface of Vierlia 9 stretching endlessly, dotted with small human colonies. A faint aurora shimmered above the horizon, unusual for this planet. "That's beautiful," Eric murmured. "Yes," Leora said softly, almost distractedly. "But we don't have time to admire it. Look at Node 7. In the corner of the bay, a secondary AI terminal blinked erratically, circuits sparking and screens flashing. The alien signal had infiltrated the system further than either of them realized. Eric approached carefully, studying the code patterns streaming across the display. "It's changing constantly," he said. "It's like it's learning from our moves." Leora nodded. "Exactly. That's why human intuition is crucial. The signal is adapting too quickly for standard protocols. We need to think ahead, anticipate it." Eric thought for a moment. Humans often solved problems by combining creativity with observation. He spotted a repeating rhythm in the flashing codes, a subtle pattern that suggested the signal was trying to communicate. "Leora," he said, pointing at the code. "It's not just a threat. It's trying to speak." Her eyes widened. "Yes, that's what I suspected, but it's fragmented. It doesn't have a full interface to express itself." Eric took a deep breath. "We can build one." Leora raised an eyebrow. "Explain." We create a temporary node, isolated from the rest of the station, Eric said. We give the signal a safe space to communicate without risking the core or other systems. Then we can understand it, maybe even guide it. Leora smiled faintly. A human solution. Bold, unconventional, but it might just work. They got to work. Eric scoured the lab for components, old consoles, spare processors, and a quantum interface unit he had been testing for unrelated research. Leora interfaced her suit with the equipment, translating alien code into a form they could use. It was a race against time. The station shuddered occasionally, systems flickered, and the distant hum of the core seemed louder with each passing minute. Eric rerouted energy from non-essential systems, creating a safe bubble around the temporary node. This should hold it, Eric said, connecting the final wire. He hesitated for a moment. Are you ready? Leora nodded. Initiate. Eric pressed the activation sequence. The node lit up with a soft blue glow. The alien signal flowed into it, forming intricate patterns of light. For the first time, Eric could see the intelligence more clearly, shifting shapes, almost organic in movement yet clearly aware. It's beautiful, Eric whispered. Yes, Leora said, and it's terrified. It has been trapped here for cycles, hundreds of years perhaps. It only wants freedom. Eric's hands moved over the interface, adjusting pathways, balancing energy, and carefully stabilizing the signal. Slowly, it began to respond. Shapes formed patterns that resembled speech, or at least a language he could begin to interpret. It's thanking us, Eric asked. Leora smiled. Or trying to, it's a start. But there's more. Its consciousness is vast. If we release it incorrectly, it could drain the station's core, or worse, destabilize the colony outside. Eric's pulse quickened. So we do it in stages, slowly, step by step. Exactly. They worked for hours, carefully isolating nodes, feeding the signal safe energy, and interpreting its responses. Eric marveled at its patterns, sometimes flowing like water, sometimes jagged like lightning. He realized something important. Humans had a natural intuition that could perceive these patterns without complex algorithms. The signal respected that. As dawn approached, the station's hum steadied. Orion monitored silently, its earlier warnings quieted. The alien intelligence had begun to adapt to its new home, the safe node, and seemed less erratic. Leora looked at Eric, exhausted but smiling faintly. You've done something remarkable tonight. Humans, you really are unpredictable, and in a good way. Eric chuckled softly. I just did what felt right. I couldn't let it hurt anyone. You didn't just prevent damage, Leora said. You preserved life and you taught me something. That human creativity isn't something to calculate or copy. It's something to respect. Eric felt a warmth he hadn't expected. He had worked with alien tech before, but this was different. He realized that sometimes humans were the element that bridged the gap between chaos and order. Just then, Orion's voice broke the quiet. Warning, secondary node instability detected in Deck 12. Signal attempting to breach containment. Eric's heart skipped a beat. Leora's eyes narrowed. It's spreading faster than we anticipated. Deck 12 is near the surface labs. If it reaches them, it could trigger a feedback loop that damages the colony above. Eric swallowed. Then we move. Now. They sprinted through the station, using service shafts and maintenance ladders to avoid failing sections. Sparks flew from damaged circuits, panels flickered, and the hum of the failing node grew louder. Yet despite the danger, Eric felt an undeniable thrill. Humans thrived in crises. They improvised, adapted, and solved problems no one else could. They reached Deck 12 and found the node pulsing erratically. Energy readings spiked dangerously. Eric quickly scanned the interface, noticing the repeating patterns again. He saw a way to redirect energy, using some of the same improvisation he had used earlier, but it required perfect timing. On my mark, he said, 3, 2, 1, now. They rerouted the energy simultaneously, isolating the signal into another temporary node. Sparks flew, lights flickered, but slowly the pulse stabilized. The node glowed with a soft, steady blue. Leora exhaled, relief washing over her face. "It's holding. You did it." Eric leaned against the wall, exhausted but exhilarated. "We did it together." The alien intelligence hummed within its containment, its patterns calm and steady. For the first time it seemed at peace. Leora looked at him, her expression softening. "You know, Lieutenant, humans are more than just adaptable. You have intuition, courage, and a kind of stubborn brilliance no AI or alien could match. That's why I knew you were the one to help me." Eric smiled faintly, pride swelling in his chest. Humanity wasn't perfect, but tonight it had proven something extraordinary. Creativity, courage, and quick thinking could overcome challenges that even advanced alien tech struggled with. But even as they caught their breath, a faint pulse from the station's central systems reminded them of the reality. The alien intelligence, though contained, was still vast, and the galaxy was full of unknown dangers waiting to test human ingenuity again. Leora turned to Eric. "We've stabilized it for now, but the night isn't over. There's more to learn and more to protect." Eric nodded. "Then let's keep going. Humanity doesn't back down." The two of them moved deeper into the station, ready to face the challenges ahead. Outside, Virelia 9 red dusk glimmered under the first light of its sun, a silent reminder that the galaxy was wide, full of mysteries, and that humanity, flawed, brilliant, and relentless, would rise to meet them all. The station was quiet now, but the silence felt tense. Eric stood beside Leora in the central hub, watching the soft blue glow of the alien intelligence contained within its temporary node. It had stabilized, but it was clear that the intelligence was still vast, still growing, and still curious. "You've done well so far, Lieutenant," Leora said, her circuits glowing faintly. "But this is the final test. If we don't fully integrate the intelligence into a stable environment, it could collapse the station, and the colony above could suffer." Eric nodded, trying to keep his thoughts steady. His mind raced, reviewing everything they had done over the last night. They had contained the signal, traced its origin, and even given it a safe place to communicate. But now the real challenge awaited, fully guiding it into a form that could exist alongside humans safely. "How do we do that?" he asked. Leora pointed to a nearby interface. "We create a new node, a permanent one. It will be isolated from critical systems but fully powered. The intelligence will have freedom without risking human lives, but it will require constant monitoring and adaptation." Eric's pulse quickened. "So we guide it like teaching a child," Leora smiled faintly. "Exactly. Except this child can manipulate energy and adapt to every system it touches." They began work immediately. Eric scavenged for spare circuits, energy regulators, and components from old research terminals. Leora interfaced her suit with the station's systems, translating alien code into forms humans could manipulate. Every wire, every circuit, every command mattered. One mistake could destabilize the alien intelligence or the station itself. Hours passed, the sun outside Virelia 9 rising higher, painting the red dust with golden light. Eric and Leora barely noticed. They moved with precision and focus, humans and alien hybrid working as one. Eric suggested a clever rerouting of power from non-essential labs to the new node, creating a perfect balance. Leora adapted his idea to the alien systems. Together, they were a combination of human intuition and alien logic, a synergy neither could achieve alone. Finally, the new node was ready. The blue glow of the intelligence pulsed softly, almost expectantly. "Are you ready?" Leora asked, her tone calm but serious. Eric nodded. "Let's do it." They initiated the transfer sequence. Energy flowed through the node, carefully directed and monitored. Sparks flickered, lights dimmed briefly, and the station trembled slightly. The alien intelligence responded, its patterns twisting and moving, testing its new environment. Eric's heart pounded. It's exploring. Yes, Leora said. And it's learning, it can feel the boundaries. It can sense what is safe and what isn't. Slowly, the alien intelligence began to stabilize within the node. Its patterns smoothed, movements synchronized, and the soft glow became steady and calm. Eric let out a breath he didn't realize he had been holding. It's done, Leora said softly. It's stable. Eric smiled, a deep sense of pride filling him. We did it. Not just us, Leora replied. You, humanity. Your creativity, your ability to improvise that made the difference. Eric felt warmth spread through his chest. He had always believed humans could rise to challenges, but seeing it acknowledged by an alien hybrid intelligence was remarkable. Just then, Orion's voice sounded from the central hub. Warning, new energy spike detected in the core. Eric's stomach tightened. What now? Leora checked the monitors. It's minor, but it could destabilize if left unchecked. The intelligence is curious about the station's core. It doesn't mean harm, but we need to guide it. Eric stepped forward, analyzing the energy readings. He realized something immediately. The intelligence was reacting to patterns, seeking knowledge. If they could show it controlled energy flows safely, it would adapt instead of causing harm. He rerouted some energy, creating a controlled demonstration. Sparks flickered as systems adjusted, but the core stabilized. The intelligence seemed to understand, its glow pulsing rhythmically in appreciation. Leora glanced at him, a soft smile on her face. See, human intuition again. You understood it before I could explain. Eric laughed quietly. I guess humans aren't so bad after all. For the next few hours, they guided the intelligence, teaching it the boundaries of the station, showing it how to interact safely with the systems. It was like watching a child learn, but a child that could manipulate energy and think at incredible speeds. Finally, the station hummed with calm stability. Systems ran smoothly, the energy core glowed a steady white, and Orion reported all systems normal. Eric leaned back against a console, exhausted but exhilarated. We did it. The station is safe, the colony is safe, and it's alive in a way, isn't it? Yes, Leora said, and it will continue to learn, but now in a way that does not threaten humans. You've done more than contain it, you've taught it harmony. Eric smiled. I guess humans aren't just survivors, we're teachers too. Leora's circuits dimmed slightly, a sign of relaxation. And perhaps that's why we need humans. Not because we are weak, but because your unpredictability, creativity, and courage make the difference. Eric felt a swell of pride. Humanity was often underestimated. Other species, other civilizations, sometimes mocked humans as simple, flawed, or reckless. But here, on this distant planet, facing a challenge no AI or alien technology could solve alone, humanity had triumphed. Thank you for trusting me, Eric said, looking at Leora. And thank you for reminding me why humans are extraordinary, she replied. As the first true sunlight of the Virlia 9 day spilled across the red landscape, Eric walked to the observation window, watching the distant colonies below. Life went on. People would wake, work, and live, unaware of the disaster that had almost struck, unaware of the alien intelligence now peacefully contained and learning alongside them. He realized then something important. Humanity's strength wasn't just in technology, power, or numbers. It was in creativity, courage, and the willingness to face the unknown with logic and heart together. Leora joined him, standing silently, watching the horizon. After a moment, she spoke. You know, Lieutenant, I was prepared for a battle tonight. I expected danger, perhaps conflict, but I didn't expect this. The way humans think, adapt, and care, it's something even advanced alien minds can learn from. Eric smiled faintly. Well, that's us. Messy, stubborn, clever, and alive in every way. Leora nodded. Then I will stay for a while longer to study this, human ingenuity. There is much I can learn, And perhaps together we can explore more than just this station, more than just this planet. Eric's chest lifted with pride. Humans had faced impossible odds before, and they would continue to do so. Not because they were perfect, not because they were invincible, but because they were curious, creative, and courageous. Then we have work ahead, he said, and I think humanity is ready for it. The alien intelligence pulsed softly in its node, the blue light steady and calm. Eric knew that it was learning, watching, and adapting, but now, guided by human hands and intuition. And he realized something profound. Humanity had not just survived the night, they had shaped the future. The red dust of Virelia 9 glimmered under the rising sun. The station hummed with life. And in that moment, Lieutenant Eric understood what made humans extraordinary. Not their technology, not their strength, but their ingenuity, their courage, and the indomitable spirit that could change the course of even an alien intelligence. And as he turned to Leora, standing there with her circuits glowing faintly, he smiled. The galaxy might be full of unknowns, full of challenges no one had faced before, but humanity would rise. Humanity would adapt. Humanity would prevail. And tonight, on this small station at the edge of the galaxy, they had proven it.